You ever get that feeling when you click add to cart on a slick-looking drone, only to discover after the first flight that the camera's focus is finicky, the battery drains faster than the spec sheet promised, or the obstacle sensors just can't keep up with a tree-lined park? I've been there, and it's why I'm doing this deep dive before you pull the trigger on the Mavic 4 Pro Fly More combo. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks taking the thing out of the box, flying it over a coastal trail, a downtown rooftop, and even a low-light concert venue, so let's sort out whether this is the upgrade you actually need or just another pretty piece of tech that looks good on paper. First off, the biggest hesitation most new buyers have is about real-world flight time. DJI lists about 40 minutes per battery, but the combo comes with 3 spares, a charger, and a smart flight case, which already mitigates the anxiety of a single charge dying mid-shot. In my tests, after a warm-up, the first battery gave me roughly 38 minutes of steady hover and smooth cruising, and the second battery, after a quick 90-minute charge, delivered almost the same performance. That consistency is a big win for anyone who plans to shoot longer sequences, like a wedding ceremony or a travel vlog, because you can swap batteries without scrambling for a spare charger. Now let's talk camera confidence. The Mavic 4 Pro sports a 1-inch sensor with a built-in ND filter and a fast f/2.8 aperture, which makes it surprisingly capable in low-light scenarios. I tried it at twilight on a beach, and the footage retained decent detail without the usual grain you see on older 1-inch drones. The autofocus is also noticeably quicker than the Mavic 3 series I used previously. It locks onto subjects within a second, even when they're moving across the frame. That speed matters if you're trying to capture a surfer carving a wave or a cyclist sprinting downhill. You won't end up with a blurry miss. Stabilization is another area where DJI really shines. The 3-axis gimbal stayed rock solid even when I pushed the drone into a gusty breeze near a cliffside. I did a side-by-side comparison with a competitor's 4K drone that uses a similar sensor, and the Mavic's footage showed far less roll and pitch jitter. The result is footage you can drop straight into a final edit without spending extra time in post-stabilizing. For creators who need cinematic brawl quickly, that time-saving factor is hard to ignore. On the flip side, the obstacle avoidance system, while marketed as omnidirectional, does have a practical limitation. The sensors work great for forward and downward avoidance, but when I flew close to dense foliage, the drone sometimes hesitated or even stopped short of the intended path. It's not a safety issue, but it does mean you need to be a bit more deliberate when navigating through trees or narrow alleys. If you're planning most of your shots in open fields, parks, or urban rooftops with clear sightlines, you'll hardly notice. But if you love weaving through forest trails, you might find the sensor suite a tad conservative. Menu navigation is another spot that can trip up beginners. The DJI app has become more feature-rich over the years, and while that's great for power users, it can feel overwhelming at first. I spent about 10 minutes just scrolling through the Intelligent Flight Modes section before I felt comfortable launching the cinematic preset. Once you get past that initial learning curve, the modes like Spotlight, Active Track, and Point of Interest are genuinely useful. They let you pull off complex moves without having to manually control the gimbal or flight path, which is a massive plus for hobbyists who want pro-level results without a full crew. Battery confidence ties back into the whole "how long can I fly" question. The Fly More combo includes a dedicated charger that supports fast charging, but the charger itself runs warm after a couple of cycles. It's not dangerous, but if you're in a hot environment you might want to give it a break between charges. Also, the included 64GB microSD card is fast enough for the 4K per 60 frames per second footage, yet it fills up after roughly 30 minutes of continuous shooting at that setting. That's something to keep in mind if you're planning long, uninterrupted takes. You'll need an extra card handy, which adds a small extra cost. Who should actually buy this combo? If you're a working creator, think real estate agents needing high-quality aerial tours, travel vloggers who want a compact solution that can go from bag to sky in under a minute, or event filmmakers looking for reliable low-light performance. The Mavic 4 Pro Fly More combo checks almost every box. The extra batteries, case, and landing pad make it a self-contained kit that's ready for a full day of shooting without additional accessories. Who should skip it? First-time flyers who are still learning basic drone controls might find the myriad flight modes and sensor warnings a bit much. The learning curve isn't prohibitive, but there's a cost too.